Welcome to Beyond the Brochure. I'm Wendy, an independent travel advisor, cruise specialist and lover of meaningful travel experiences. In this podcast, I'll be sharing honest cruise reviews, destination discoveries, travel stories and things you won't always find in the marketing brochures. So grab yourself a drink, get comfortable and let's travel a little further beyond the brochure together. Today I'd like to talk about Cunard's newest ship, Queen Anne, and why she surprised me far more than I expected. A lot of people know the name Cunard. A lot of people know they're famous for the transatlantics. They're also known as maybe a more traditional kind of ship, which is true. They're also maybe considered by some as being a little stuffy, formal. The white glove service is what it's known as, dressing up, things like that. So although I'd never been on a Cunard ship, I did want to visit to know exactly what was involved. And I know a few of my customers have actually travelled with Cunard and do like the ships very much. The image is probably for older people, which is absolutely fine, but not necessarily true. It's just one of those images that you get. It's a formal thing, and I think that's down to perhaps the transatlantic and the adverts as well, because some of the adverts you see are very elegant. There's a beautiful woman in a long dress going to New York and it looks very grand. So that is what I expected. And in some ways, yes, it was just like that. But there were some really big surprises for me. And Queen Anne, I must say, is the newest of the ships in the fleet. A lot of the traditional Cunard cruisers were not in favour of such a large ship, a different sort of ship, but I think it was a good idea to bring out a ship like this for people like me. I am being people like me, because I do like a beautiful ship. I really do like a good service, and I think that was probably what was missing. Or has been missing in the past. So what surprised me? The first thing was how absolutely beautiful she was inside. Yes, there are areas of wood and I think sometimes that makes a ship feel quite dark. But this was nothing like that. It was stunning. It really was. She was beautiful. I mean, I've travelled on other lines which are beautiful too. But this was elegant, very, very elegant, but not over the top. It was a contemporary sort of elegance. The cabins as well were absolutely beautiful. Again, elegant, stylish, very clean, absolutely beautiful. I was really, really surprised by the contemporary feel. I'll go on later to mention one of the biggest things I loved about it, and I don't want to spoil it, but the public areas are really, really large. It feels a huge ship, although it's not. It just feels very, very, very well laid out. The pool on the top, it's a gorgeous area. It feels very tropical, but not in a tacky sort of way. There's the yoga studio and stretching, which is a massive area on a ship that size. And also the outdoor spaces, they're really beautiful. It's something I can't quite put my finger on, but it's a very, very elegant, contemporary ship, which will bring me on to tell you about the thing that I absolutely just couldn't get over, and that was the size of the spa. Now, I do like a nice spa, but on a ship sometimes they feel a little cramped, but this was absolutely incredible. It was huge. It went on and on and on. It's built around a horseshoe shape. So you have, there's a beautiful pool in the bottom with fountains and bubbles, and it's absolutely amazing. You've got the hot stone beds, you've got saunas, steam rooms, ice baths. It's not any good to you here because this is a podcast, and I may put a few pictures as we're talking about what the ship has to offer. But if you want to look at more pictures, then I will put those on my blog post that's going to accompany this podcast. The spa, even the cost of the spa. I have the prices, which I haven't got in front of me at the moment, but Everything is priced in dollars, not in UK pounds. So when you look at the prices, they're not expensive even in dollars. So when you come down to UK pricing, if you take example a short 4-day cruise, they're really, really very good value for what you get. And I must admit, you can probably tell, I was actually blown away by the whole spa offering, all the facilities. It was absolutely incredible. The atmosphere on board, the staff. Every single member of staff I spoke to was so happy to be there. The smiles, the feeling of wanting to help. The area is so big, as I've said before, that it feels spacious. You don't feel cramped at all there with especially on embarkation day, because you know what it's like. There's people always milling about, don't know where they're going, me included. And it was really, really, it didn't feel cramped at all. And all the staff that I spoke to, everyone was willing to help. If they saw someone looking lost, they go over and ask if they could help. And the general atmosphere on board, people were very nice to each other. There was no loudness, there was no pushing or shoving. People were very considerate to one another, very respectful, which I thought was brilliant. So the question is, would I sail on her again? And the answer to that is without a doubt. I'm eagerly looking at offers and things like that for myself and for other guests as well. But absolutely without a shadow of a doubt. And I would actually even stay in an inside cabin, because the size of the insides was fantastic. The layout was brilliant, loved it. But also the balcony cabins, the suites, they were amazing. The layout was beautiful, elegant, as you would now know to expect from Queen Anne. But also the restaurant, the grills restaurants, which you can dine as part of the package there and have the relaxing areas where you can chill out. But as a starter, there's really no need, if you don't want to take a suite to escape other guests, because as I've already said, everyone was absolutely fantastic. All the areas of the ship are fantastic, and the grill suites just add that little bit extra on. So my final thoughts before I carry on for too long, I will do another section on what Queen Anne offers. Final thoughts are, this ship sort of stands out on its own. I don't think there are any that compare for both contemporariness, is that a word? Contemporariness? Anyway, for being so contemporary, but still offering the luxury and the service that you would expect from very high class 6-star, 5-star, 6-star ships. So those are my final thoughts. She's a fantastic ship. She is very affordable. She has some excellent facilities, and I wouldn't hesitate to go on her again.